like you. Two of a kind out of all of the world, meaning here is the truth. I can't believe it's you getting nearer. I must be looking in
My name is Ramon Torres, co-owner of Aztec Dave's Food Truck, as well as Aztec Dave's Cantina, where we're at now. At the start of the pandemic in April 2020, we were told that we had to cease all operations due to the pandemic. At that point, we didn't know what to do, so we literally stopped everything we were doing in uncertainty. But we had some good come our way. A generous anonymous donor reached out to me and wanted to donate a number of meals. At the time, I didn't know how many, but surely turned into 20,000 meals over a 4-month span. From April to June of 2020, we donated 500 meals a day, Monday through Friday, to 17 different hospitals in the Chicagoland area. Definitely kept us busy throughout the pandemic. We were very lucky but fortunate to be able to execute and handle that project. We got national and local recognition on the news outlets, including recognition from Jiffy Lube, who did a campaign on us. And due to this recognition and due to this community work, we were able to get where we are today and open up our first brick and mortar restaurant and bar, something that we've been long waiting to do for the past 5 years. But with the market, with the opportunity, and the location, we jumped into it within a few days, and here we are today. So just due to our team's hard work, dedication, and willingness to work with the community and doing selfless acts, we were able to jump forward and to do a lot more during the time that a lot of colleagues were closing and unable to operate, doing really horrible. We were able to make good out of it, and we want to continue doing good for our communities, and we want to continue being a positive role model to our communities and market. So we want to be here for a long time. Longevity, quality, and service is what we want to be about. So that's what we are today.
When you first experienced the word that everything was going to shut down, what was going through your mind those first few hours?
Fear, uncertainty, anxiousness were the first feelings that went through my mind as the state shut down. I didn't know what we were going to do. But something told me that I needed to remain composed, not only for my family, but for the company. And sure enough, we had some people reach out to us just because we had the vehicles, we had the staff to do something great for the Chicagoland community. And that's where it started, that's where it took off. And that's what we were recognized for during the pandemic, and we're just very grateful to be able to carry out something like that and call it our own.
Let me take you back to just a few minutes before you actually got out of your seat and started looking for a job. What was going through your mind regarding yourself and your employees to make you make that move of looking for a job?
It's just, I'm the type of person where I always need to be productive. So at that time, there was nothing to do, so I was just being as proactive as possible, seeking my avenues to make a living for my family at the time, even though the business wasn't bringing in any money. So I just needed to be proactive as much as possible. And you can call it luck, you can call it the law of attraction, but this individual called me directly. I don't know how, I don't know why, but he did. And I was able, he wanted a very, very low price point, a $5 price point for an $8 value. Something told me to not deny the guy, not knowing what scale he was going to donate. So something that they told me that I shouldn't deny this guy what he wants to do. And in turn, it came back fivefold. And that enabled us to operate throughout the pandemic and some.
Did you take a part-time job or something before this happened?
I delivered groceries with one of those apps. It's like a DoorDash for groceries.
Yeah.
So immediately following the pandemic, I was personally keeping busy doing that, and it was good, but it was just to keep myself busy. And it was actually during one of those jobs that I got the call from this anonymous donor to donate these meals. And then the week after, he's like, let's do it again, but let's do 500. The following week, let's do it again. The following, I'll prepay you for 2 months. Let's keep this going. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I never denied any positive questions or answers from this man, but I embraced it, and I'm like, let's keep going. Let's reach the moon if we can, you know. So that was my mentality during this, and we're very fortunate that we created so much from something so small. And I think that's a part of the reason why we are where we are today. With the growth, with our business model, with our stance on quality and service. I mean, that tells the story right there. That's how we came about, and we're going to be here for a while. This is our bread and butter. This is our baby. We've been looking for a location for quite some time, and we found it.
Well, being an engineer, they actually helped me do my job. I mean, how to plan out and execute a project per se. Example of a board game that helped me do that was Clue. I had to put together a strategy. How was I going to find the people, the weapon, the room? And so I put a strategy together, and it actually worked real well. It drove my mom crazy. In order to win the game, you need to know what the rules are, which means you need to read the rules and understand them. So it helps you reading tech manuals, school books, whatever. You know, as a boy, I didn't read much, as most don't.
Yeah.
But I definitely learned how to read rules because I wanted to win the game.
Yeah.
And you also have the social interaction with board games. You don't get that with the Nintendos and all that. So the interaction with other people, working with them, games like Risk, you have to negotiate, play. So a lot of skills, communication skills that you'll develop playing board games.
And
yeah,
trying
as far as the rules go, but games range everywhere from kids games, Sesame Street, don't really need reading, just need help from adults, all the way out to games that Avalon Hill, simulations that the rule books are thick, and you could play for 4, 5, 8, 24, 48 hours to try to play the actual game.
Okay.
Some games are educational. I have games at Milton Bradley. Those companies had to put out games for education, and they did. So some games are more math in like pies and fractions, where others were more open that this is a phonics game or a word game, like that. Well, every kid's probably an individual. You have to see what its likes and dislikes are. There's probably a game that would fit their bill. For myself, I played like Mousetrap, Sorry, Clue, Happy Little Train Game, Forest Friends, Uncle Wiggily, Park and Chop, many hours playing with my grandmother, Park and Shop, and Uncle Wiggily. And probably one reason why I have a lot of games, I guess, is playing with her. So. Yeah, I even worked puzzles and that. I mean, I was a problem solver, puzzle solver. Whatever the puzzle happens to be. Games were just a different form of puzzles, thus being an engineer. But games also serve and can help you going into medical, a lot of other fields. Money, accounting. There are games, a lot of games specific to those types of fields. So board games are not going away. Parents still play them. Some even have game nights, once a week or whatever, and play board games. They come to my shows where I set up, and they buy games specifically for that to play with their family. So, and I've run into some going through garage sales. So it's still a high price selling item, even though the quality of games now pretty much come from overseas, in specialty game shops.
Yeah.
Well, not only engineering, but a lot of fields, project managers. You can start playing a game and think it's going to take a certain tack, and all of a sudden a card comes up, somebody does something unexpected. Now you have to figure out what to do from this point. How do you strategize or get around with the new wrinkle thrown into it? You also talked about schools. I played games. I learned how to play chess in 4th grade. Matter of fact, just watching some other kids do it. So games are I still see them in classrooms as I do work in schools and that, and there's board games there, and teachers do utilize them. You may find this kind of funny, but you do what you know. And as I'm retiring now, I'm telling the new people in that, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and start with what you do know, and a lot of times will lead you to the issue or the problem that was being created. So just do what you know, use your engineering background, go through the steps, and eventually the problem will show itself to you.
Is this a dream or a deja vu? Someone like you, someone like me, meeting someone like me, someone like you, that proves that it's right not to give up the fight to live and be free. Something has happened, we're united, the treasure is ours, no need to divide it. No one's as happy or delighted as we.